An offshore oil platform upgrade is approved for one thing: replace aging safety valves. 8 months later, the crew is also rewiring the control room, adding a new helideck, and rerouting a pipeline nobody asked to touch. The budget has tripled, the schedule has doubled. Nobody stopped it, because nobody had drawn a hard line around what this project actually was. This is scope creep, and in an industry where a single day of platform downtime can cost over $1 million, it is one of the most expensive mistakes in project management. Welcome back to Project Management Fundamentals. I'm your host, Sam Nwasimuo, and today we're breaking down scope management, the discipline that decides exactly what a project will deliver, and just as importantly, what it won't. We'll go from the technical PMI definition straight down to plain English, and we'll walk the entire thing through a realistic oil and gas case study, because few industries punish loose scope as brutally or as expensively as this one does. Technically, PMI defines scope management as the processes required to ensure that the project includes all the work required, and only the work required, to complete the project successfully. Read that again: all the work required and only the work required. In plain English, scope management is the fence around your project. It keeps the right work in, and it keeps everything else out. Without that fence, a project that was supposed to take 6 months and $10 million quietly turns into 14 months and $23 million. One small "while we're at it" request at a time. Here's why this matters so much, especially on-site. In oil and gas construction and maintenance projects, an industry survey by the Construction Industry Institute found that poorly controlled scope is one of the top 3 drivers of both cost overrun and schedule delay on capital projects, sitting alongside weather and permitting. Unlike a software project, you can't just patch a mistake later. A drilling platform with the wrong scope decision baked in physically has to be reworked, sometimes underwater, sometimes in a live production environment. Scope mistakes here aren't inconvenient, they're dangerous and they're catastrophically expensive. PMI breaks scope management into 6 core processes. We'll walk through every one using a running case study: a mid-size offshore platform safety valve replacement project. Process 1. Plan scope management. This is where you decide upfront how scope will be defined, validated, and controlled for this specific project. Essentially, the rulebook before you start playing the game. For our platform project, this means agreeing in advance. Any change beyond replacing the named valve assemblies requires a formal written change request signed by the project sponsor. That single rule, written down on day 1, is what stops "while we're out here anyway" conversations 6 months later. Process 2. Collect requirements. This is where you find out, in detail, what stakeholders actually need, not what they casually mention. Technical definition: gathering and documenting stakeholder needs to meet project objectives. Plain English: this is the ask everyone now formally, so nobody springs a surprise requirement on you in month 5 step. For the platform project, this means sitting down with operations, safety, and engineering teams and getting every requirement in writing before construction starts. Not "somebody mentioned wanting new lighting" halfway through. Process 3. Define scope. This produces the actual scope statement, the detailed description of the project and its boundaries. For our case study, replace all 12 primary safety valve assemblies on Platform Bravo with certified API 6D rated valves. Excludes control room wiring, helideck modification, and pipeline rerouting. That exclusion list is doing the real work. It's the difference between a scope statement and a wish list. Process 4. Create the work breakdown structure, or WBS. This breaks the total scope into manageable, deliverable-based chunks. Technical view: a hierarchical decomposition of the total scope of work. Plain English: it's turning "replace the valves" into an actual checklist: shutdown and isolation, valve removal, new valve installation, pressure testing, recommissioning, documentation. If a task doesn't map to a box on this structure, it isn't part of the approved project. Full stop. Process 5. Validate scope. This is where completed deliverables get formally inspected and accepted by the customer or sponsor. Not just marked done by the team that built them. On the platform, this means an independent inspector verifying each new valve assembly meets the certified specification before sign-off, not the installation crew self-certifying their own work. Validation is what makes done mean something legally and technically, not just something written on a whiteboard. Process 6. Control scope. This is the ongoing job of monitoring the project and managing any changes to the agreed scope for its entire duration. This is where scope creep either gets caught in week 1 or allowed to snowball for 8 months. Every single change request, even a small one, like let's also inspect the adjacent flange while we're in there, gets logged, evaluated for cost and schedule impact, and formally approved or rejected. No verbal yeses on a platform deck. Ever. Let's go back to our platform. 3 weeks in, the maintenance supervisor notices corroded wiring in the control room, right next to the valve work. Without scope control, the natural instinct is, we're already out here, let's just fix it. With scope control in place, here's what actually happens instead. It gets logged as a change request, routed to the sponsor, costed at an estimated $400,000 and 3 extra weeks of platform downtime, and only proceeds if formally approved with adjusted budget and schedule. The work might still happen, but now it happens as a deliberate funded decision, not an invisible scope leak that nobody accounts for until the final invoice arrives. Now the case where it goes wrong. A separate pipeline integrity project starts with a clear scope. Inspect and repair 8 kilometers of pipeline. During execution, the field team gets a verbal request from a regional manager to also just replace this valve station while the crew's out there. No change request, no cost estimate, no sponsor sign-off. 4 similar verbal requests later, the project is 40% over budget, and when the CFO asks why, there's no paper trail justifying any of it. This is scope creep in its purest form. Individually small, reasonable-sounding requests that collectively wreck a project because there was no control process actually being enforced. The recurring mistakes. 1. Treating scope statements as vague summaries instead of precise boundary-setting documents. 2. Accepting verbal scope changes in the field because saying no feels awkward in the moment. 3. Skipping formal validate scope and just trusting the crew's self-assessment. 4. No logged change request process, so scope changes have 0 paper trail and 0 accountability. 5. Assuming small requests don't need the same rigor. They're exactly the ones that accumulate into the biggest overruns. AI tools are becoming genuinely useful for scope management. Tools like Microsoft Copilot or specialized construction management software can compare a change request against the original scope statement and instantly flag whether it falls inside or outside approved boundaries, turning a judgment call into a documented fact in seconds. AI can also scan historical project data across similar oil and gas projects to predict which types of change requests are most likely to appear, so teams can plan contingency budget for them up front. What AI still can't do is have the uncomfortable conversation with a site supervisor explaining why a quick fix needs a formal change request first. Key takeaways. 1. Scope management is the fence. It defines what's in and what's explicitly out. 2. The 6 processes, plan, collect requirements, define, create the WBS, validate and control, exist specifically to prevent the failures that happen without them. 3. Exclusions in your scope statement are often more valuable than the inclusions. 4. Every scope change, no matter how small or reasonable it sounds in the field, needs a logged, approved change request. No exceptions. 5. In industries like oil and gas, scope discipline isn't bureaucracy. It's the difference between a profitable project and a career-ending overrun. That's scope management, the fence that keeps your project's budget, schedule, and sanity intact. If this made scope creep make sense in a way it never has before, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Next episode, we're tackling risk management, how great project managers spot the disaster before it happens instead of reacting to it after. I'm Sam Nwasimuo. See you in the next